some of the stuff that you were previously taught. So, ladies and gentlemen, in previous terms, like over here, what I explained how to do was to multiply two binomials and then find the area, right? Well, now what we're doing is I'm giving you the area, and I want you to find what the two side lengths are of the rectangle. So that is going to be our process of factoring. Now, basically, if you guys remember, if we're going to set this equal, I would use like a box, and I can write this in on the area. But one thing I want you guys to understand here. So, oh. Huh? Okay. So what I understand is the area of our trinomials, right? This trinomial represents these four. We can represent these four boxes. Now, the problem is I have four boxes, but I only have three terms. So to come across that, what I'm simply going to do is I'm going to put this term here, my first term there, and my last term right there. Does everybody follow me with what I did? I put x squared there, and I put a 10 there. Now, the issue that we have is we have a -7, and we only have two boxes for -7, right? We can't put -7 in both these because, remember, the area is supposed to represent x squared minus 7x plus 10. So I need to have two boxes that are going to represent -7x. Now, to understand what two boxes to use, I'm going to go back over here and use this kind of method here. And what this basically tells you is if you have a quadratic in standard form, which we've talked about, you take your values of c, and you take your values of b, and you write them down. And basically what this box is asking us is what two numbers multiply to give you positive 10, and then add to give you -7. But before you give me your answer, which I'll ask you in just a second, if you're having trouble doing this, if you can't figure them out, because guess what? I guarantee you, if you have a problem like this on your test, you will not be allowed to use a calculator. Like if you're doing a computer-based test, you would not be allowed to use a calculator. So best thing I would recommend you guys do is write down all of the factors. Always start with the largest factors first, and then work your way down. Fortunately for us, 10 is not that bad, right? It's only 10 and 1 and 5 and 2. However, if they multiply to give you a positive 10, but they have to add to give you a -7, that means both of the factors have to be negative, right? So always do the factors for the positive, but then look at that, or look at what they add to and make sure that they're negative. So then, Kayla, the only possibilities that we could possibly have would be -5 and -2. OK? So to represent these two boxes, do you guys agree with me that -5x minus 2x is the same thing as -7x? Yes. You guys agree with me? So therefore, I can rewrite this as -5x, -2x. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to replace the -7 with -5x and -2x. Now, all we're simply going to do is just find the side lengths. So it's like the reverse order of this. Now we're going to say, what two lengths can multiply to give me x squared? Well, x and x. X times what gives you -2? -2. X times what gives you -5? -5x? That'd be -5. So my factored form is x minus 5 times x minus 2. Now, you might say, Ms. McLogan, this is kind of a lot of work for when I understand once I have it factored. Do you guys notice how these are exactly the same? Well, for not all factoring problems is that going to be the case. But for today, that will be the case. So you guys can kind of use that transformation. However, there are 4 problems I want you to fill in the boxes to get practice with that. Because next class period, we'll be using the box. The box will become ever more important. OK? All right. So that's one way. But ladies and gentlemen, that's the long way.